It's Paul Marsh, and I'm delighted to say that I've been joined by former teacher Freddy Quinne. Freddy, how are you, sir?
I'm not too bad, thank you. How are you today?
I'm really, really good. We are definitely at that period. We've just sort of come out of half term. We've got a few more weeks before Easter. So we are now looking ahead to all of the holidays and everything else like this. We are going to be talking about this thing that all parents are just screaming about, and that is using a common sense solution to fix the problematic school holiday system and how we are being taken advantage of when it comes to holidays and what we pay and all of those bits and pieces. As a former teacher yourself, I'd imagine you get this both barrels.
Oh, massively. And can I just say, I have so much sympathy both with parents and with teachers because at the moment, the current system just isn't working. Because for parents, you have got to spend such a premium on taking your kids out and taking them on holiday at the times that the school allows you to. And that almost incentivizes them to take them out during school and eat up the fines because it still works out cheaper. And for teachers, it's not working because more and more children year on year are missing school because their parents are taking them out because they've got no other option. And that's not what anyone wants. So it's about time that there's a common sense solution that's been put in place.
Well, it really is, because I think if you asked any single parent if there were no price changes right the way through the year, would you take your children out during school or would you take them out when it's actually time for a holiday? 99.9% of people, unless there's a specific reason, would take them out during the holidays because we all want our children to be at school for as much as possible. It's better for our work lives and all of the other bits and pieces. It's common sense, right? But when you are talking about the thousands of extra pounds of holiday costs during the holidays, it's just like you say, when it comes to like taking the fine and all of these other bits and pieces, it's a no-brainer.
Do you want to hear something that's really going to blow your mind, Paul? Do
Oh,
you know?
go
Have a
on.
little guess how many families were fined last year by the Department of Education? Have a guess.
Thousands, tens of thousands.
Try 500,000.
Oh,
They reckon now, obviously, that's for all different sorts of things, but a
yeah.
lot of that will be for holidays. Now, they've done some surveys and, they've asked quite a lot, huge amounts of families and things. Last year, 37% of families took their kids on holiday during term time. And this year, up to 50% of families say that they're going to take their kids out. So it's a problem that isn't going away and it's a problem that's just growing. And what we want to do is we want to introduce something called an Inset week, whereby schools will be allowed to group their Inset days together to have a week. And that way, it'll allow each individual family to take their kids away and not have to be punished by those extra high prices.
And I assume that this would obviously be down to the individual school. So it wouldn't always be, for example, at the first week of the summer holidays, the last week of the summer holidays. It would be different for all of the schools. They can choose to do it whenever they want. So you're not going to get absolutely whacked by your prices.
That's exactly it. It's just simple and common sense, and it really helps to alleviate that supply and demand issue that we're having at the moment. And a lot of schools are doing this at the moment. Like it's not a new thing per se. There's over 100 schools nationwide that do this, and we're working with one at the moment that's kind of a case study called Python Hill Academy. And for them, it's actually seen attainment and attendance levels increase. They're
Yeah.
way above the national average. So this isn't just something that is an easy solution. It's something that is both easy and fixes the problem.
I think the other thing is, so my children are 8 and 12 at the moment. Obviously, I'm not saying that it's okay to miss any school because it's obviously not. But the older they get, the closer they get to their exams and all of that, it becomes even more important that they are in school in lessons. And this is the thing, isn't it? So when, like, say, when our kids were in middle school, it was we our head teacher that they go to was absolutely brilliant, and they understood these things, and and they helped us all they could. But now that our oldest is in senior and our youngest will be there in a couple of years' time, choosing to take them out is not really an option because as much as we do want to go on holiday, and let's face it, I think the kids need a holiday as well. Taking them out when they've got exams and other bits and pieces, it's not a good thing.
Oh, absolutely not. And I've got so much sympathy for teachers. I'm an ex-teacher myself, and I can tell you it is one of the hardest jobs in the world. And it's made even more harder by the fact that kids miss lessons.
Yeah.
And look, sometimes you can't help that. Illnesses happen, thing happens, life happens. But when kids are being taken on holiday, what that creates is gaps in knowledge and gaps in learning.
Yes,
And
trying to play catch up.
well, this is it. And you've got 30 odd kids in a
Yeah.
classroom. So imagine how difficult it is to make sure all those children are moving through the syllabus at roughly the same rate when they're off and absent at different times. It's a real minefield for teachers. And so we need something in place that will both allow parents to be able to take their kids on holiday and not be penalised for it, but at the same time, allow kids to be in school and to make teachers' jobs easier. And I think that that's why this Inset Week is such a good idea, is because it fixes both of those issues. And it's a really nice middle ground to meet.
Now, Freddie, explain something for me. So, like you say, so we all know that our kids and schools have the Inset Day. You want to move that to an Inset Week. What do teachers do on an Inset Day? I always assume it's catching up with paperwork, it's planning lessons and all of those bits and pieces. And the reason that they are spread out throughout the school terms is so that they have maybe an extra day or two in each term to catch up with all of their bits and pieces, plan all the work and do all the extra bits and pieces. If you jumbled 5 days up into a week, is that not going to cause them problems?
Well, there's lots of different things that are done on an Inset Day, and it really depends on a school by school basis. What a lot of schools do, particularly the ones that I've worked at, they do kind of like courses, and they experiment with different learning styles and different ways of teaching. They also use it to standardize their marking and making sure that everybody is, sort of marking to the same level, basically. Now, obviously, there's things that will be made a bit more difficult, but there's also things that will be made easier because there's only a certain amount of things that you can do in a day. Whereas if you stretch it over the course of the week, you can actually find that a lot of extra teaching will be unlocked. I think it'll be a lot better. Now, there's nothing to say as well that schools, and I've worked in some schools, that instead of having 6 weeks off over summer, which is a really long time, they just have 5 weeks off over summer, and they have that extra week, in October, and make it 2 weeks. So there's different ways of implementing this Inset Week, and it can be on a school by school basis. And what we want to do is we want to encourage head teachers and schools to be able to explore this idea and see if it will work for them. And we want to encourage parents to be asking their schools, is this something that we can do? And it's dead easy to do that. If you want to send them a WhatsApp or an email, if you head to the website onthebeach.co.uk, they've already got forms that you can, pre-filled out, and you can just copy and paste and send. Nice and easy for you. But it's about starting to have this conversation. Is this something that our school can implement? Will it benefit us? And I think you'd be really surprised at how many schools and how many parents and how many kids would really benefit from something like this.
So you've already mentioned, I think, did you say 100 schools or 100 or so schools already do this?
Yeah, schools already do it.
So if that's the case, is this regulated by Ofsted or anything else like that? Is there a reason why more schools aren't doing this? Or is it just because it's the way it's always been done and they're carrying on like that?
Well, they're interesting places, schools. What some schools consider to be, absolute blasphemy, other schools consider to be sacrosanct. They change a lot depending on which school you're at. And some schools, to be honest with you, they do things just because it's the way they've always done things. And I think that that's what it's about, really. I think what needs to happen is they need to be empowered to be able to, make these changes. And at the moment, schools can set their own holidays. The head teachers have the power to be able to do that. So it's just about creating that interest and giving head teachers the option to sort of look and see if it will work for them. And we can already see in the schools that are trialing this, their attainment is improving, their attendance is improving, kids are happier, parents are happier. It does feel like a solution that benefits everybody if it's implemented properly.
Yeah, I can certainly say as a parent, I would far rather this. I would far rather be able to plan my work schedule as well and say, right, you know, I'm going to take a whole week off rather than having the odd day here and there. If it means that we get to go on holiday somewhere at half the price it's going to cost us in the summer, I'm definitely up for that. So what we're saying is we need more parents to get in touch with their head teachers. And the more parents that do this, the head teachers are going to take this seriously and have a debate about it.
Oh, massively. What we're at this moment in time is we're at the stage of starting the conversation. And the way that you start the conversation as a parent is you ask your school, is having an inset week viable? Could we do that? You can reach out to your schools via email, you can reach out via WhatsApp. And if you need some help knowing what to say or whatever, if you head to the website onthebeach.co.uk, they've already got forms pre-filled in and filled out for you that you can just send along. They've made it nice and easy for you. But we're at the beginning now of a movement, you know?
Yeah.
Things need to change. It's not working for anybody at the moment. It doesn't work for the schools. It doesn't work for the parents. It doesn't work for the kids.
Well, there's only one set of people that it does work for, and that's the holiday companies that get to charge an absolute fortune.
Well, this is it. You know, it's supply and demand, isn't it? And
yes.
by having that set week in place and by having it different for each school, it just eliminates that, makes it nice and easy for everybody. And I think myself, and I'm sure you'll agree, it's just a fairer way of doing things.
Yeah, I completely agree. Onthebeach.co.uk, all of the information's on there. Freddie, thank you so much for talking to me. I really do appreciate it. Here's to cheaper summer holidays.
Thank you very much, Paul.